Let me tell you the moment when these decisions start to make sense. You're living abroad as NRI, say in Canada, US, or in a country where you have option to take citizenship. Settled, job is good, kids are in school, life has a rhythm. Then a long weekend comes up. About a month away, your friend says to you casually, "We're thinking Lisbon. Want to come?" And he is already half packed in his head. You smile, you say, "You will think about it." What you don't say is, "You just can't go. You need a visa, you need to apply, wait, submit bank statement, explain your intention to visit, and hope that the officer on the other side understand that you genuinely want to visit Lisbon and come back." Sometimes it works, sometimes, though no fault of yours, nothing to do with your character, your record, it doesn't. Because the passport you carry requires you to apply for visa. Your colleague, he books his flight a few days later. Now, I want to be clear about something. The Indian passport has come a long way. Its global standing has grown meaningfully over years. India's economic presence, its diplomatic relationship, these things matter and it shows. The Indian passport is something to be proud of. But when it comes to visa, the reality is that you still need to apply in advance. There are exceptions, of course, with some countries, and hopefully in next few years, this equation changes as more Indian travel abroad. But for someone living abroad long term, and this is a honest truth, there are deeper practical realities. Whether you are on a work permit or on a permanent resident card, your stay in that country isn't truly settled. You need to keep renewing. You're always to some degree, at mercy of an immigration officer. The reason you stay are often practical stability, career, your children's future. Even if emotionally, your heart still belongs to India. And that's usually when the question comes up. Should I take up citizenship here? The moment this question comes up, the next one follows immediately. But what happens to my connection with India? India does not allow dual citizenship. That's what this video is about. Because OCI is the answer to that second question. It lets you take that practical step forward, keeping the bridge to India open, not just legally but emotionally. You don't have to choose between the life you're building and the roots you come from. Taking citizenship of another country is not a paperwork decision. Anyone who has been through this, like me, will tell you that. On one side, practical reasons, stability, career, travel freedom, the ability to live your life without administrative friction at every turn. On the other side, identity, root, family. That quiet feeling that's hard to name, but very easy to feel at 2 a.m. when you're far from home. And here is what nobody tells you before you go through it. Most people don't stop being Indian after taking foreign citizenship. If anything, they become even more Indian. Suddenly, you are the one explaining Diwali to your office. You are defending the existence of ghee like it's a matter of personal honor. You are celebrating Holi in country when nobody else knows about Holi. The passport changes, the core doesn't. And OCI, the Overseas Citizen of India card, is built exactly for this reality. It doesn't ask you to choose. It's the bridge that keeps you connected to India while you build your life somewhere else. And if one day you want to come back fully, reclaim Indian citizenship, close the loop, that door exists too. But let's start from the beginning. India does not allow dual citizenship. When you take citizenship of another country, you have to surrender your India passport. They punch a hole and give you a surrender certificate. It feels fine. But OCI is what comes next. If you are an Indian origin or your parent or grandparents were, you are eligible. Spouse of Indian origin person can apply with 2-year marriage requirement and an interview. Once you have surrender certificate, you apply for OCI. Once you have your OCI card combined with your foreign passport, you can travel to India anytime. Stay as long as you want, no visa, no counting days, no police reporting. You land, you are in. What OCI gives you, the card has lifelong validity. Beyond travel freedom, OCI gives you ability to hold and use Indian documents, own property, work in private sector, practice your profession. pay Indian rates at museum and railways, and keep your financial life in India fully functional. It is not just a travel card. It is the bridge that lets you live, work, and belong to India while holding foreign citizenship. For the step-by-step application process, including documents required and common pitfall, I have covered that in detail video. You can check the link in the description, and let's go through what you can hold and use in India. Aadhaar. If you already have one before changing citizenship, it continues, no cancellation, no description. If you don't have one and want to get, here is the important detail. You need to be physically present in India for at least 182 days before you are eligible to apply. This cannot be done remotely. So if you're planning for a longer stay, make this a priority while you're there. You cannot do this on a short-term visa. Coming to PAN card, if you already have one, the number remains same and it is still valid, nothing changes. You don't have one, you can apply. I'm sure you will want almost every financial transaction in India eventually ask for it. Bank account, if you had a regular saving or current account and you became NRI, you are required to convert that to NRE or NRO account. If that hasn't happened yet, please do it. I have converted my saving account to NRO, NRE accounts. I made video on that. And when the citizenship changed, I walked into my bank, told them, and they asked for my citizenship detail, equivalent of PAN number. In SSN, in Canada, it's called SIN. I handed over the detail and they updated record immediately. Your account number stays the same. The money doesn't move. It's an administrative update, not a reset. India SIM card. Yes, you can have one as OCI holder. You will need a valid Indian address for KYC process. So have that ready before you walk into the store. If you don't have, forget SIM. Property. Residential property you can buy, commercial property you can buy, no restriction, no special approval. Agricultural land, farmland, plantation properties, you cannot purchase. This door is closed for buying. But when it comes to inheritance, it is different. If your parent had an agricultural land, it comes to you, it's yours. You can inherit even without OCI. The complexity without OCI is that you won't have straightforward bank setup to handle the transaction or repatriate that money. OCI makes that entire process significantly more manageable. Selling inherited agricultural land requires prior RBI approval. Don't navigate that alone. A chartered accountant who understands NRI and OCI regulation is worth every rupee for the fee that you will pay. One thing that genuinely brought smile to my face, museum, heritage sites, Indian Railways. As an OCI card holder, you pay Indian rate, not foreigner rate. That adds up across multiple trips. Working in India, those OCI card holders who have gone to India and shared their lived experience have said that during the hiring process, they were only asked for PAN card, Aadhaar, and their work experience detail. Nothing more. The PAN card ensures all compliance-related requirements are taken care by the company. Many HR professionals still struggle to process what OCI is, but the system itself recognizes it. You have Aadhaar, you have PAN, your bank account is active, you go through the normal process, submit your document, and let the system work. But here is the caution. If your role involves research, journalism, or access to sensitive government data, anything where national security, classified information, or government collaboration is involved, the situation changes. In those cases, being upfront about OCI status from start is not just advisable, it is necessary. Many organizations may not have clear policies on this yet. And if you raise it after joining, it creates complication for both you and the employer. If any approval is required, whether from the organization or from the government body, it is far better to know upfront. That way, you protect yourself from risk later and the organization stays compliant. For majority of the private sector role, this straightforward path works. But if your work touches sensitive areas, do not wait. Have that conversation early. It keeps everyone on the right side of the road. At least I could do that and not risk losing OCI card. When it comes to the government job not available to OCI holder. Certain publicly funded research role also carry restriction. If you're in academia, check carefully whether your institution falls under this before making plan. Professional practice, doctor, lawyer, chartered accountant, yes, it is allowed, but you earn the right to practice the same way everyone else does. Doctor with degrees from outside India need to clear the foreign medical graduate examination, now called the next exam, and the complete registration with the National Medical Council. Once done, private practice and clinic ownership are fully allowed. If you are a lawyer, foreign LLB requires Bar Council of India recognition, then enrollment. Without that, you cannot appear in Indian court. With it, you can. And for those wondering about joining the institution as professor, assistant professor, one of the comment in my earlier video confirmed that there is a professor at IIM Bangalore who is an OCI card holder. So even premier institutions are open. When it comes to taxes, if you have any income in India, bank interest, rental income, anything, you file taxes in India. Same slab as Indian citizen, no special OCI rate, no exemption because you are a foreign citizen. I file every year. It keeps things clean, avoid problems later. The tax treaty between India and your country of citizenship determine what you actually owe across both countries. Don't guess on this. A cross-border tax professional is worth consulting. Let's talk about everyday life. Driving. If you are visiting India on a short trip, get an international driving permit before you leave, IDP. Carry it with your OCI and foreign license, no explanation needed. If you're staying long term, you can get an Indian driving license through the learner's license route, submitting the OCI document. If you already have a valid Indian license, when it comes to medical insurance, my daughter, who is a Canadian citizen, OCI card holder, I added her to my India health insurance policy, submitted her OCI card and passport detail to the nationalized general insurer. She was covered. We traveled to India twice. Both time she was hospitalized. Both time insurance handled it completely. So yes, it works. But speak to your insurer upfront, explain OCI status and understand your coverage before you need it. No police reporting. This one surprises people. If you are traveling to India on a long-term visa, you have to register with the local police station or the Foreign Regional Registration Office, FRRO. As an OCI card holder, you don't need to do that. This requirement was removed few years ago. You land, you move freely, no check-in, and it's quite smooth. Education. School level, there is no difference between the fee OCI children and an Indian children would pay. They pay the same. When it comes to university level, OCI students fall into separate category. There are OCI specific quota at certain institution and fee structure that differ from both domestic and full international student. Research the specific institution your child will be applying to. Rules vary enough that it's worth checking directly. The bridge back. Here is something that doesn't get discussed enough. OCI is not a one-way door. It's a bridge. And some people walk back across it. You can reclaim Indian citizenship after holding OCI. I made a detailed video, the qualification period, the minimum time you need to have spent physically in India, and the formal application process. It's not rare. It happens more than people realize. The children are raised, career chapter is complete, financial security has been built, and something pulls people back home, genuinely, not for holidays, to stay. Akshay Kumar held Canadian citizenship for years, then formally gave it up and returned to India as an Indian citizen. It was made public, whether that was a personal, professional, or both, only he knows. But the point is that OCI gives you that stability to build your life abroad without cutting your connection to India. Here is what I want you to take away from this. OCI exists because India understands something important, that people leave for practical reason, not because they stopped caring. You are living in a country like Canada or US or Australia or the UK. You want to give your children stability. You want to travel without friction. You want to build something without bureaucratic uncertainty hanging over every plan. Taking local citizenship makes that possible, and OCI makes sure that you are doing so. You don't have to walk away from India. You can still own property there, bank there, work in private sector, practice your profession, send your kids to school without paying foreign fee, inherit what your parents leave behind, come home not as a visitor, not as a foreigner, as someone who belongs there. The travel friction that exists with an Indian passport when you're going to Europe or elsewhere, that's what made you think about this in first place. Foreign citizenship solves that. OCI makes sure you don't lose India in the process. And years from now, if that chapter abroad is complete, you want to come back fully, that path exists too. The passport may have changed, the food preferences haven't, the movies haven't, the festivals haven't, everyday call home haven't. Nothing really has changed. If this video helped, share it. There are people in your circle right now sitting with exactly this question, feeling exactly this tension between practicality and identity, and they don't have this information in one place. Now they both. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.